My daughter-in-law leaned back in her chair, smiled cruelly, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "If you don't like my mom's sarcastic jokes, you can pay the bill and leave." The table went silent. Forks froze mid-air. My son didn't say a word, so I smiled. I reached for my purse, and I paid the bill. What they didn't know was that this dinner was the last time they would ever treat me like nothing. I wasn't even supposed to be there that night. My son called earlier that day, his voice rushed. "Mom, we're going out for dinner. My wife's mom is visiting. You can come too, if you want." If I want. I knew what that meant. I was an afterthought. A formality, someone to tolerate, not welcome. But I said yes anyway. Because I'm a mother, and mothers keep trying, even when it hurts. When I arrived at the restaurant, they were already seated. My daughter-in-law didn't stand, didn't smile, just glanced up and said, "Oh, you made it." Her mother sat beside her. Loud perfume, sharp eyes, the kind of smile that looks friendly but cuts deep. From the moment I sat down, the jokes started. "Oh, back in your time, people didn't even have real jobs, right?" Her mother laughed. Everyone chuckled lightly. Then another one. "And women didn't work, they just depended on their sons." Another laugh. "Not from me." I smiled politely. I always do. But inside, every word landed like a slap. I built my life from nothing after my husband died. I worked. I sacrificed. I raised my son alone, but to them I was just old, outdated, disposable. I glanced at my son. He stared at his plate. That hurt more than the jokes. Then came the final one. Her mother looked directly at me and said, "Well, at least some people here don't have to worry about paying. Retirement means living off others, right?" She laughed. This time the silence lingered. I gently said, "I don't find these jokes very funny." That's when my daughter-in-law snapped. She rolled her eyes and said the words that still echo in my ears. "If you don't like my mom's sarcastic jokes, you can pay the bill and leave." She said it casually, like I was nothing, like I was a burden they couldn't wait to get rid of. I looked at my son. He said nothing, not one word. That silence shattered me. My hands trembled as I opened my purse. The waiter approached awkwardly. I placed my card on the table. "I'll take care of it," I said calmly. My daughter-in-law smirked. Her mother looked surprised and then pleased. They thought they had won. What they didn't know was that I wasn't just paying for dinner. I was paying for clarity. When the receipt came back, I stood up. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply said, "I hope the jokes were worth it." And I walked out alone. That drive home felt endless. The car was silent, but my mind was loud. I replayed every moment I stayed quiet. Every time I swallowed my pride. Every time I chose peace over respect. I realized something painful. They weren't joking. They were showing me exactly how they saw me, and my son had chosen his silence. That night I cried. But by morning, I was done crying. There was something my daughter-in-law never bothered to learn. I wasn't living off others. Years ago, after my husband passed, I invested what little I had. Carefully, quietly, I built stability, security, independence, and more importantly, the house they lived in was still in my name. I never mentioned it. I didn't want power, I wanted family. But respect should never be optional. 2 weeks later, my son called. His voice was tense. "Mom, we got a letter from a lawyer?" I said calmly. "Yes." Silence. I continued. "I'm transferring the house into a trust. You and your wife will need to start making arrangements." He panicked. "Mom, this is sudden." "Sudden?" I laughed softly. "No, what was sudden was realizing I was a guest in my own life." That evening, my daughter-in-law showed up at my door. No smile. No confidence. She said, "We didn't mean it like that." I looked at her and asked one simple question. "Then how did you mean it?" She had no answer. Her mother didn't come. Of course not. Bullies rarely apologize, they retreat. I didn't scream. I didn't insult them back. I just set boundaries. They moved out 3 months later. My son and I are slowly rebuilding, but it's different now. And that's okay. because justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes, justice is simply choosing yourself. That night at the restaurant, they thought I was weak because I stayed calm. They thought paying the bill meant I lost. But here's the truth. Walking away with dignity is never losing. If you've ever been disrespected at a table you helped build, remember this. You don't owe anyone your silence.